Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to the farm. We are all done with harvest now. We got all the equipment cleaned up. Everything is put away. So now we are simply doing field maintenance, field improvements, and as much as we can until it freezes. So today we are going to be working on pulling fence. Once we get the fence pulled, then we'll come in and we'll pull the little scraggly trees that are still underneath where the old fence used to be. And then we'll come in with the batwing mower. We'll mow everything off. And then we'll move to the next field. I think we have like, probably like 18 fields that need work. First things first, this morning, I need to get our big Massey 4-wheel drive tractor out, and we're gonna hook up to this disc. No mosquitoes in here! Along with my list of putting a new grain dryer, getting an overhead door on this end of the big machine shed. That's up there. Please, Dad. Ellie, how many times do I have to tell you you cannot drive? It smells like wet combine in here. Looks good though. Oh, hey, hitch pin, old hitch pin, where art thou? Is that the one? Maybe it's this one. I think it's that one. Does it fit? Hey, look at that. So here's what we got going today. We are right underneath the wind turbines. We're going along this windmill road, and we had a fence on the right side of it. Now this fence had been there for a long time, so it's got a big old mound. We want to smooth that mound off, and we're gonna use the skid loader to do it, but to make it a little bit easier, I'm gonna pull the disc over it first. We'll go do a few back and forths. Then we have nice loose soil that we can shape instead of trying to go into big blocks of sod and everything else that it just doesn't smooth out as nice. So this is just gonna be helping us smooth out. Then also, if we have some buried wire or some buried post or something that we didn't find, this will turn it up. We'll be able to pick it up. I'd rather hit it with this than with the combine or with the planter. It's a little bit hard to tell, but from the left side to the right side, it probably drops off about 18 inches. So we just wanted to go level from the road out into the field. So we're essentially just gonna be wiping out the little hill in the middle. We might not want to run that over. It's not a super big lip right here, but just see how it runs right into it. It's probably about a foot high right here. So we're simply just gonna shave that off and spread it out in the field. And it'll be nice, clean edge. This is the stuff I want to break up with the disc. When it's in little pieces like this, it's a lot easier to manage with the skid loader, because otherwise you might be taking up like a 5-foot square chunk of sod and it all just kind of clumps together. And then you got to really work it a lot in order to break it down, so that way you can get a nice smooth surface. Oh, found another one. Oh, see another one. Obviously I like it when I don't hit them, but sometimes you do. You might not go through the disc too well. I think we got her all done. I'll just come back with the skid loader. We'll be able to actually start doing some dirt work here. Looks like I gouged maybe a little bit into the driveway there. I'm confident in my ability to make it look like there was never even a fence there. It'll be smooth when we get it done. Sometimes things gotta look worse before they look better. I don't know if we're gonna need this again to work up any more fence lines, but we're just gonna leave it hooked up for now. If we do, we'll use it. If not, I won't be offended. Now we're gonna hop in the John Deere, take the batwing out. Last night I pulled about a half-mile of fence over at Kristen and Rusty's, just a hair under that. So we're gonna go mow it. That way we can see kind of what's there. Then I guess we'll know if we need to use that on it. Here we got the 15-foot batwing. I have never ran a batwing before. This is going to be a completely new experience for me. And the first time you usually do anything, you're terrible at it. There's only one way to learn. And we got the neighbor. Looks like he's ripping up his field right next to me, so we got an audience. Great. That is great because I perform under pressure. Okay, let's unfold this thing. Well, that's the up and down, okay. Maybe number 2. Wait, you can just do one side at a time? What? Oh my goodness, how did I not know that? I wonder if when one is up in the air, it shuts, like there's a clutch or something that's in place that shuts the gearbox off. Otherwise, you'd have a big old lawnmower blade straight up and down. I probably wouldn't think that'd be too safe. So I'll warm up the oil. Oh, this is interesting. We're gonna go nice and slow because I'm sure there's probably a fence post or two that maybe got missed. I mean, we're definitely gonna hear it with that or feel it. Hopefully we don't feel it. That's never a good thing when you can feel it on heavy equipment. Okay, looking at it from that field to our field, we do not have too much of a hump here in the middle, so this one won't be bad at all to smooth out. It might get more severe down there, but we'll interpret that when we get there. I'm trying to ride with my tires not right on top of where the old fence was, just in case there's a steel post, and then I'm not accidentally sticking one through the tire. Hey. Hearing something. This is hanging down here. Hey, look at that. Yeah, that definitely got hit a couple times. Hey, for never doing this before, I'd say that looks pretty stinking good. We have a half mile of fence. We're still waiting on permission from the neighbor before we can pull on the other end. Then that is the last of the fence we have to pull on this farm. That is a good feeling. Done mowing for now. Sounds like Cooper has half the fence over at Carol's pulled. We're gonna go dump this dump truck and head over there, and by that time he should have the other half pulled, rolled, and ready to be loaded. Bye-bye wire. Oh, that PTO gets harder to push down every time. Ah, fence post. Jeez. I couldn't figure out why that was moving, but that is slowly seeping down. I understand now. Okay. Welcome to Carol's. I don't think there was much for wooden posts along this road here. We do have some piled up in this bundle. We'll get those burned off nice. But it seems like everything on the other side of this house going that way, there's just 4 strands of barbed wire and all wood. Woven wire is pretty nice to pull, other than the fact that the bottom ring always sticks underground, and if it breaks in half, then it's underground, then you gotta scoop it up later, and you usually find it with a piece of equipment. But it's really easy to wrap up, and it doesn't flake out and kick everywhere. You can just keep rolling it makes a nice tight pack. Where barbed wire, that breaks, that can be buried underground, and it wants to go everywhere. And when you grab it, it'll also stab you. Man, look how nice this is gonna look. We'll get the batwing in here next. We'll get this mowed down so this tall grass won't be here. It'll look just like this ditch. It'll come right to the edge of the field. That's gonna be clean. You know, you never really realize how tall signs are until you actually stand beside them. I bet this sign is 13, 14 feet tall. Now we're just doing a walk along, finding the little strands we can't sticking out. That's what I mean by what gets buried. It's just a thin little piece, but it's enough to hit with the mower or get caught up in a piece of equipment. Simply just walking along where the old fence used to be, just kind of feeling with my feet. If I feel anything abnormal, it's a piece of wire. We'll identify it, then Cooper will pull up to us. Thought I just felt one there, it's a piece of grass. Then we'll hook up to it and we'll yank it out. We got a bag of something, dog food. Yes, he's got the pinchers on right now. He could pull this little tree. Oh, look at that. He stuck it underneath to break the roots up, and he's gonna yank it right out. Effortless. Oh, here we go. So we got a piece right there. It's kind of hidden, but I bet it's a few feet long. It's just buried. Carol's farm is now fence-free. Well, for the most part anyway. There's a cattle pasture on the backside, so we have to have a fence there. And then there's a neighbor that does not want his fence pulled, so we're gonna leave that one. But otherwise, everything on highway front, I guess, fence-free. Another one down. So we're gonna boogie back home. We probably got a 15-minute drive. Sun's just about to go down, and I just realized my headlights are not working. This is a poor combination. No lights, and my window's starting to fog over. I must have got wore down pretty good pulling fence yesterday because I literally went to sleep at 8:30 p.m. I've not done that probably since I was 5. We're gonna head out and pull some more fence here in a little bit, but I'm just driving by what I dissed along these windmill roads yesterday to see if there's any junk. Looks like I already found my first piece. And another one. Another one. Oh, we got 2 in 1. Sweet. Oh, this one was a good eye. and it broke in half, so we have a piece hiding in here somewhere. I'd say that was worth our time to go out there and pick stuff up. We're down at Uncle Orland's farm today. Cooper decided to come here next. We have permission on the south side to pull the fence. We're waiting for the answer on the east end from that neighbor, and I'm not sure about the north yet. When you're standing facing a fence, you technically own the right side of the fence. That's your half of the fence, so we can pull that on the neighbor's sides. The fences are completely shot. They're flat on the ground. Some's falling on our side, some's falling on the neighbor's side. The wooden posts are just rotted off. So, I mean, it needs to come out, but we would like to get their permission just so that way they're not upset about it. A lot of wooden posts on this fence line, so that one's going on the fire. You don't really realize how long this fence is till you start pulling it. Second load at Uncle Orland's definitely not the most ideal right here. I think I'm stuck. I'm thinking nowadays I'm probably gonna have to start getting up at like 5 o'clock in the morning because this sun going down quick, it gets dark fast. For the sake of efficiency and being able to do things while it's light out, typically I do my office work in the morning, and then I get done usually around noon, and then eat lunch, and then go outside, and then I can work as late as I need to, depending on whatever project we're doing. But with it getting dark so early now, it's just gonna keep getting darker earlier and earlier and earlier for the next few weeks. I'm kind of tempted to just go out in the morning, do my work, and then once 5 o'clock hits, then I can just work in the office from like 5 until 10. That might be the thing to do. Ah, sunshine! Before we get too carried away this morning, let's see what we got for diesel in the skid loader. Ugh. Okay, this is one of those fuel gauges. Once it gets off full, it seems like it just goes fast. Sounds like Cooper got all the rest of the wire pulled and rolled at Uncle Orland's farm, so Zach and I are gonna head down there this morning. We're gonna bring the dump truck, we're gonna get all the wire loaded up, we're gonna bring it over to our big pile to burn everything out of, and then Zach and I are probably gonna have to walk it, find any little poles, pieces of wire, get that out. Once that's done, Zach brought his skid loader with forks, we're gonna have ours with a tree puller on it, then we are gonna be pulling and rolling at the same time, and we should get twice as much done as we normally do. Once we get this farm done, our goal is to go right over the top of this hill. Actually, it's catty corner to this over the hill. Then we're gonna go to the field west of Dad's house, which Cooper has officially named Mount Everest. That's what we're gonna call it from now on. Mount Everest. We're gonna hitch a ride, gonna hitch a ride. Whee! Uncle Orland's farm's like a half mile that way, half mile that way, half mile that way. So we have a bit of walking to do today. Hopefully there's not much broken off in this fence line. This will make this a lot quicker. When it's all said and done, it'll pretty much look like this, just a little more cleaned up because we'll have it mowed. It's gonna look good. We're halfway done with the first side. Need some insulation. We made it up our first side. So this is the corner post, big old thick honker. I'm gonna make sure we got all these wires cut going to it so we're not yanking on it. Beautiful. I don't know what these tomato looking plants are. I don't think they're tomatoes. I don't want to taste it, but I'm curious. Ooh, that was loud. And that broke off underground. About an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. We got the whole thing walked. We're gonna go get the dump truck now. Vamonos, vamonos, vamonos. We got everything all picked up, rolled up. That's all done. Now I got the dump truck. We're gonna do the old fork and load. truck. Load number 1 if it comes out. Hey, look at that. Oh, we got a nice full load there. It's just giving it a custom paint job, Zach. Oh, beautiful. That was a big load. Last 2 bundles, and we'll have a full truck. This will be our 3rd truck off of here. Then we're going to another field. Oh, one of the things about pulling fence, it takes time. But the good thing is, once we have it done, it's done. She full, Clark. Zach's gonna go head off and dump that load. I'm gonna pop the forks on, put the tree puller back on, and we're going right up on top of the hill there to the bin site. We have about 3/4 of a mile of fence to pull. We're just gonna be right on the back side of the bin site. We've already pulled some fence here, and then it starts right in front of us, and this goes the entire mile all the way down. Half of this mile is the neighbor right across from us. His name is Roger. We're waiting on Roger's response on if he wants his half of the fence pulled or not. So if we're sitting looking at our fence line from our side of the field and we look at the right half, that is technically our fence, so we can do with it as we please. And then the left half would be Roger's half. So we're gonna pull our half, so basically just over the top of that hill. And then if we don't get a call back from Roger in that time, then we're gonna go all the way to the other end of the mile where we have Presley's half of the fence, and we'll be able to pull that. I do not think Roger's going to care because he doesn't have any fence along the road. And then right here along the bin side, we also have no fence, and he's never said anything about it. Granted, that was our half of the fence, but he doesn't have any along the road, so I imagine he's probably gonna like us, and we'll enjoy not having a fence. It's kind of funny when we're pulling this wire because we have places we expect there to be a fence, like in this tall grass, but then you get to an area like this where it's been mowed. This is our side, this is Presley's side. Look at this. Digging into this wire, we got something that just disappears right into that grass. So we've been driving over that forever. Who knows how far it goes down there. We're gonna keep pulling on it and dig out what we can. The claw works a lot better when we are on the places that actually have poles and wire attached. And then Zach's got his skid loader. He's rolling stuff up into bundles while I'm pulling. And then when we get to an area like this where we have some poles and then we have some where it's just buried wire and the poles are literally gone, the forks work really well for just getting that bare wire because he can stick down into the ground without disturbing a lot of soil, where I'll take out a pretty good bite. I'm gonna make the executive decision on this corner post. It's still got the X bracing on it. I'm gonna pull all that out because that X bracing is causing birds to land on it, and then they plant trees beneath, and that's just more of a hassle to maintain, and it's also hard to mow around that without having a weed whacker. So I'm just gonna pull all that out, and then we'll just put a singular post back in, and then that'll be a lot easier to maintain. Then we still have our field boundary, or at least a marking point where we can have one there. And then we can probably have one, maybe the top of that hill, just so we have something to reference a straight edge off of. Yeah, those corner posts are nothing to mess with. That's all concrete that was buried underground, and then the X pieces also had it there. I like getting those big concrete pieces out of the ground because that pole does not move. If you bump it with something, it doesn't give, and it breaks stuff. Where just a normal fence post being in the ground, let's say just a T-post, at least if I bump it with something, they're not super strong. It's just gonna bend right over to the ground and I can replace it, which is what I want. I don't want it running into a stinking tree stump that's never going to move and then it actually breaks my piece of equipment, because as good of operators as we think we are, you bump the fence every now and again. It just happens. And daylight savings has smacked us. Ronnie just pulled in for another load of corn. Dad's refilling the overhead right now, and we are pulling out of that bin. Well, this is what we resorted to. Cooper's just pulling with the tree puller. Zach's back there somewhere, he's picking. And then I'm on dad duty today, so we're sitting in the dump truck, just following them along the field, teaching Edward how to drive the dump truck and pull fence. You see that, buddy? Probably want to wear your gloves when you're grabbing that barbed wire. That stuff's sharp. That claw is something incredible. Good work, Zach, good work. Edward likes the skid loaders, that is for sure. Oh, you want to drive? Okay, you're up. Zach's currently doing a method learned by the ancient Aztecs where they drive over the ground that they're looking for fence posts on, because they will feel them with the tracks on their skid loaders. It's incredibly more potent than walking because you can cover a much longer distance in a quicker amount of time. And also, you don't get tired while driving the skid loader. So the ancient Aztecs were able to do that for thousands of years nonstop. Okay, I'm kidding. That's not an ancient Aztec technique. I just made that up. Oh, that didn't work very good. Maybe. Perfect. And then Cooper's gonna come in with the fog and he'll pick up that piece and that wire. And then we'll be on to the next pile, which that next one right up there, that's our last one. Oh, dust. Roll the window up. Skid loader and the tree puller has had a heck of a day. We're hoping to at least get all the farms that we own done this fall. If we get to rented farms, we want to get to them all the ones where you have permission to pull out the fence, we're gonna do it. If we have cows beside us, of course we're not gonna do those because we don't want them getting out. But we're just trying to make the farm easier to maintain. We're trying to make it look a lot nicer, keep those little scrub trees out, keep fence from falling into equipment and into the field, getting ran over, all that kind of stuff. Just trying to make things more simple and kind of have a system in place for keeping farms clean. Speaking of clean, I think it's about ready time to clean up, go eat some supper. Don't forget, check out the link in the description. We have Cornstar Farms apparel if you want to help support the farm. Otherwise, that's all I got for today. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.